It's extra time. It's Monday night. I'm Dom Aldworth, and this is The Sports Bar.
He's done it! The greatest night in the history of Chelsea Football Club. European champions. They've beaten Bayern in their own backyard. Tuilagi through the first two, through three. And England are going to score again. No one will touch Aston. It's magnificent. There's no other word. Comes Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt storming through. He takes it again. Blake gets the silver. 9.64. Oh, he's returned his title in the most emphatic way.
Welcome to the Monday Night Sports Bar on Talk Radio Europe. With me, Dom Aldworth. Spurs underline their credentials in the Champions League, or for a Champions League, should I say, with a big win in the London Derby yesterday. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg lead Mercedes GP to the top of the times in Barcelona as pre-season testing finishes. Brian Reid from Ladies Football Club Studs and Stilettos joins us as well at hour. And Richard Tilsley and Stuart Joseph in the studio with me as usual. Gentlemen, welcome to the show this evening. How are you doing?
Good.
It's a very special day today, isn't it, Rich?
No comment.
Oh, well, we'll just have to bring it in.
Another year older.
Stay with us for the next hour. Well, welcome back to the Monday Night Sports Bar with me, Dom Aldworth, Richard Tilsley, Stuart Joseph, and now on the phone as well, Brian Reid. Brian Reid is the head coach, manager of a women's football team down here called Studs and Stilettos. Brian, a warm welcome to the Talk Radio Europe show this evening, the Monday Night Sports Bar.
Good evening, thank you very much.
Brian, Studs and Stilettos, there's many sporting events and clubs down here on this coast, and I've been here a long, long time. We didn't even realise Gaelic football existed down here. It turns out it does. There's a rugby club down here that's it's thriving at the moment. And who on earth would have thought that there's a women's football club, Studs and Stilettos? Tell us a little bit about it, please.
Well, we started in June last year with 9 or 10 ladies who'd seen the boys playing football and thought they'd like to give it a go. And we're now 9 months on, up to 23, varying ages, nationalities. We've got 8 different nationalities. We started off on a tennis court. Now we've moved into the proper full-size pitch in the municipal court in La Cala, and it's going really well.
And tell us, I think you got to 23, 24 ladies or members of the club so far. All ages, all shapes and sizes?
All ladies, all shapes, all sizes, all nationalities. They go from 18 years old all the way up to mid-40s.
And you have, as I imagine, the only male in the club, the fantastic job of having to look after these ladies and coach them, but you've also got a pretty decent background yourself, Brian.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's great with the girls. Some of them have played before, some haven't, so there's all different standards. But yeah, I've been coaching since the early 90s, and I've spent a lot of time out in the States and also in the academy at Portsmouth before I came back over here, so yeah, it's all good.
There's probably some listeners out there who want to be able to join the club or maybe get in touch with you guys. They've probably played football before in the UK or wherever, female of course. How can they get hold of you guys? How can they find you? Is there a website they can get in touch with you, Brian?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was just going to put you on to Amanda, who runs our club. She's got all the website details, and I do the coaching, she does the organising, so I'll let Amanda give all the details to you.
Great stuff, Brian. Thanks so much.
Hi, Dom.
How are you, Amanda? You okay?
Yeah, good. The website address is studsandstilettos.weebly, that's WEEBLY.com.
And all the details are on there. They can get in touch with you guys.
That's right.
And just tell us, Amanda, I know in the email that you sent to me, you said you're not actually looking for any new players at this stage. What you are looking for, though, is for other teams to form so you can actually play tournaments and more competitive matches against other sides. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I mean, we play up and down the coast, so it doesn't matter how near or far they are. You know, we'll play anyone if they're willing to come and play us. Obviously, as time goes on, we do have people leaving and joining the club, so will always be vacancies if people want to get in touch and leave their details.
And you've got a big game coming up, I think, in the next couple of days or so against a lower college, haven't you?
That's right, yeah. We've got a mini tournament on Wednesday the 13th in La Cala. It starts at 8 p.m. and we're fielding 2 teams, an A team and a B team. The A team are pretty experienced, and the B team are all completely new. New to the game since last year, really. And then the Lower College are bringing their sixth form to play us 5v9.
Fantastic stuff. And if anybody obviously is thinking about maybe joining or doing something, they're most welcome to go down and watch the games, or maybe even come and watch you guys practice. I think, is it every Monday maybe that you practice?
Every Wednesday we play in the Cala, yeah. But if they'd like to come and watch the tournament, there's going to be free raffle prizes for all the spectators. There's a lovely little bar there, so everyone's welcome to come down and watch, and then meet the coach and have a chat later.
Have you got any single ladies actually featuring in your 23?
There could be one or two.
Okay, because one of my colleagues that sits in on the show with me, it's his birthday today, actually, Richard, a really old mate of mine. He's single and he's looking, so you might see some guy with a red scarf loitering around the training pitches maybe every Wednesday or one of your tournament days, introducing himself to some of your ladies. It's Richard Tilsley, you know who that is. Brilliant.
He'll be the one with the glasses on and the rucksack in the corner.
Well, listen, thank you very much indeed for coming on. Great stuff what you're doing down there. We wish you all the success, and I'm sure we'll be able to link up with you in the future and let the listeners out there how you're getting on.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Amanda. Take care.
Bye.
Well, that was Amanda there. And Brian Reid from Studs and Stilettos Women's Football Club down here. Nice little initiative there, Rich.
Can I just clarify something? Are you accusing me of being one of the Dirty Mac brigade?
I did not. Don't put words in my mouth, mate. Listen, I'm just trying to hook you up. You're another year older, right? You're another year more single.
Yeah.
It's all down here from now on, and I'm just trying to help you out.
Is that how it worked with you and Amelia?
No, I didn't need any help to go and find a partner, okay? But you clearly do.
You did.
No, I did not.
You did.
We're not talking about my private life. You were talking about yours, okay?
You were Mr. Lonely.
I was Mr.
We
Lonely.
were all amazed when you found her.
Were you? Why?
Well, she found you, didn't she?
Well, no, we knew each other. But why were you all amazed?
She saw you and took pity on you.
No, she didn't take any
She felt
pity
sorry for you.
We can't discuss exactly live on air why she did fall for me.
Who's that lonely lump in the corner?
No, she did not. Huh?
He's getting all embarrassed, isn't he?
I'm not getting all embarrassed.
You keep going the same colour as that red light behind you.
He's off with the red light.
Come on,
the red light.
Leave me alone now for a second. I'm just going to let's go around the world with a couple of different sports. We've been talking football. We're coming back to it because, of course, Champions League is back on the agenda. Real Madrid, Manchester United, Real Madrid coming up tomorrow night. A little bit of rugby news there for you on the weekend in the Aviva Premiership. There were wins for Saracens, Exeter Chiefs, tremendous win there over defending champions Harlequins by 27 points to 16. There was also wins for Northampton Saints, Leicester Tigers, Bath and Worcester Warriors over London Wasps. Saracens are currently top of the table on 59 points, followed by the defending champions Harlequins on 55, Leicester Tigers on 54 and the Northampton Saints on 49 there. So Saracens now starting to take the initiative there. Rich, you got something you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's looking at potential Lions picks for the summer would not have failed to have been impressed by the towering performance of Tom Croft back for Leicester. I mean, he's taking his comeback from injury very, very cautiously, which I think is sensible, bearing in mind he had such a severe and serious neck injury. But if he continues to show that form for Leicester, Dominic, I mean, people are talking about who should be the Lions captain. I think Tom Croft is making a very, very good call for us.
We know his credentials at international level. We know what a good player he is when he's on form.
Standout player of
obviously,
the last Lions tour.
The concern is the injury, if it can hold off. If the form is there and the injury, it obviously isn't causing any problems. And for me, absolutely.
I think one of the most talented football players, currently in the Aviva Premiership, especially amongst the forwards. He has great handling, very, very quick. He's good in the line. Very strong, good in the scrum, fantastic tackle, and and when you look at potential Lions back row, there's a certain sort of debate as to whether or not the people who would perhaps make the best captain, i.e. Rob Shaw, would necessarily justify their place on merit when you've got other people coming into the equation.
There was a very interesting article. Actually, all the guys that won the 2003 Rugby World Cup with England in Australia, gave their opinions on where they feel or how they feel this current England team is and where they're going to be in a couple of years' time. And, you got the likes of Matt Dawson, Johnny Wilkinson, all these great guys, Martin Johnson, and they all said there's a lot of similarities between that team then before the World Cup when they were still learning their trade, this team now and where they are and where they could potentially be. And all the obviously they're all English, so they're going to be talking the side up, but completely in agreement with them. This is a really good, talented core of players that they're working with now that can really go on and dominate this game at the international level for a long time.
Well, very much so. And, but coming back to the Lions, what I really love about, a Six Nations tournament during a Lions, during a Lions year is trying to pick those Lions, who's going to get those spots. And, at the moment, yes, there are certain positions where you say, yeah, he's a definite. But there's a lot of positions, I think, which are still very much open.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're definitely going to be debating this as the tour comes across. Hopefully injuries will keep away from most of these Lions hopefuls as well. Six Nations Rugby...
coming back to English rugby, the other thing is that there's some very, very good young players coming through the ranks. And... I don't know if anyone has seen anything of London Irish, but they've got this young winger, Marlon Yardy.
I've heard about this kid, yeah.
Yeah, and he's absolutely electric. He's, he's not a sort of a George North type winger. He's more of a sort of a Manu Tuilagi or who's the New Zealander, what's his name? Marnonu in the centre. He's that sort of build, but he's on the wing, and great turn of pace, great hands, and a very exciting player. And there's plenty of other players coming through, of very, very good quality. So I think English rugby looks very strong.
Excellent, great stuff, and it's good to see as well. It's been a long time since they last won the World Cup, but I don't think it's going to be that much longer.
Sticking with Aviva Rugby, if London Welsh lose their appeal, and that's coming up this week for fielding an ineligible player. And if they are not successful, unfortunately, it'll mean that with the amount of points they have deducted, because it's, I think, 2 points per game he played, they will unfortunately be relegated.
Oh, it's a terrible shame, considering it's their first time in the top flight.
And also the huge legal battles that they had before the season even started to attain their place, in the Premiership, because... the Premiership was saying that, they didn't have a ground up to the requisite standard and things like that. And, I think London Welsh have done so well.
They have indeed.
Real pity for them if that happens.
And don't forget, Six Nations Rugby begins again this weekend, or continue, should I say, this weekend. If we're on air on Friday night after the telethon, we'll definitely be looking ahead of the weekend's fixtures. Formula One fans, only 13 days away before the season begins at the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. Pre-season testing is now complete, and I can tell you now, for those that didn't think Mercedes are going to have a car that can challenge this year, think again. Hamilton and Rosberg on the last 2 days of testing topped the times. We've always said you can never read too much into it in pre-season testing, but it certainly does look like a much better Mercedes this year for pre-season as they had last year. These times were achieved on super soft tyres as well, but good start there for Hamilton in his new car, the Mercedes. We'll obviously be previewing the Formula One season next weekend. Just ahead of that, a bit of tennis news. Rafa Nadal defeated Roger Federer in the final of Acapulco. I got there in the end. It's not a bad result there for Nadal. It's his second tournament win since he's come back from injury. He cruised past 6-love, 6-2 on clay as well. That was a tremendous performance there by Rafael Nadal. Gublis captured his second Delray Beach title in Florida when he defeated Roger Vasselin in Sunday's final. He was the winner there in 2010. Sarah Irani from Italy, she rolled, it was a second straight final there for her in Acapulco. She defended her title from last year, defeating Spain's Carla Suarez Navarro in straight sets, 6-love, 6-4. Great start to the year for Sarah Irani, winning the doubles title in the Australian Open and runner-up in Marseille and runner-up last week in Dubai. So Sarah Irani is certainly performing particularly well at the moment. We've got one more commercial break to get through, and then when we come back, we're going to be looking ahead at this week's Champions League spots, so stay with us for the last 10 minutes.
Monday Night Sports Bar with Dom Aldworth.
Well, welcome back to the last part of the show with me, Dom Aldworth, Stuart Joseph and Richard Tilsley. Rich.
Just before you move on, Dom, you're talking about Formula One. Quite interesting that from 2015, McLaren are not going to be using Mercedes engines anymore.
That is correct, actually.
They're going to be going back to Honda. Honda are coming back.
Well, they had to purchase the engines from Mercedes, but they've decided to go with Honda. Yeah, that's good. I think that was one of the reasons why Hamilton left. He knew something behind the scenes that wasn't common knowledge to.
And
to
also,
Formula
of
One
course,
fans.
McLaren have lost their technical director, I think.
Yes, a
Whose
couple of
name
days ago.
escapes me, and who's going to Mercedes.
Going to Mercedes, correct, yeah. So there's definitely some good stuff, positive stuff happening there.
In fact, if any petrol heads are listening, I can't remember his name, so phone in and tell us who his name is. I can't remember who, for the life of me, what the guy's name is.
I was just reading it yesterday morning, actually. Shall we talk Champions League? I mean, goodness me, tomorrow night, Old Trafford. What a marvellous occasion. Two sides, 4-0 victory for United on the weekend. Real Madrid, a second win over Barcelona, beg your pardon, in a week, coming in top form. Ronaldo going home, 1 goal apiece in the first leg. The stage is definitely set.
It's going to be a fabulous evening. Really looking forward to it. I don't know which way it's going to go. It could go either way. Both teams have hit form and they're playing very well. Real Madrid put out quite several reserves the weekend that still beat Barcelona 2-1. Barcelona have got problems there. You know, they've lost a couple of big matches. Milan in the Champions League, and now Barcelona with losing these games against Real Madrid. Quite incredible. I don't know which way it's going to go. I really don't. When you look at the United team, you know, Rooney, Welbeck, Van Persie, tremendous formation. Ronaldo for Real Madrid, Benzema, you know, they're all hitting form. In midfield, you've got Di Maria, Ozil, Alonso, Essien. Then you've got Valencia, Carrick, Nani, Giggs, whoever they're going to play. I mean, the whole if you look at the two teams, Richard, they're so equal, and the way they play is such an attacking game. I think we're in for a fabulous evening of football tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can read that much into the Real Madrid win against Barcelona. I mean, there were so many substitutions, and Barcelona over the last month are a pale imitation of the team that they were before. We've talked about how they were totally impotent, and in the Copa del Rey last week. I thought they were even more abject on the weekend, and in many ways, look, I watched the Real Madrid-Barcelona game, and it was quite similar in some ways to the the Spurs Arsenal game the following day, in that all the attacking threat came from Spurs and Real Madrid, and yet possession rested with Arsenal and Barcelona. I think Barcelona had 63% possession and 2 shots on goal. And, at the end of the day, there's got to be something more than just pass back.
But every stat you see of Barcelona will always be 65% them, 35% the other team. Same as Arsenal.
But even
they've always got possession.
But even the Messi goal, okay, well, basically that was just a ball down the channel. And it was a great bit of skill, from Messi, knowing exactly, put it through the defender's legs. That
was Ramos. I mean, Ramos is a decent defender.
Yeah, but the thing is, he knew where the goal. He has a great sense of position within the penalty box. Messi, as all great strikers do, and so he knew without even looking up, just from where the lines on the 6-yard box were, where to place the goal. So that was a great bit of striking skill. But you can't say that. Wow, that pass from Iniesta or that pass from Xavi. I mean, it was just a ball down the channel.
I mean, one thing you can say wow about is Cristiano Ronaldo's form at the moment. In the King's Cup on last Tuesday, was unbelievable. When he came on as a second-half substitute on the weekend as well, again, he's just in fantastic form. Yeah, he surely is the difference between these two sides tomorrow.
Well, hang on, Rooney's playing very well at the moment as well. He's hit also a lovely pass.
But he's hardly a Ronaldo, is he?
No, but he's a different sort of football, and also Van Persie scoring goals as well. He's not none of these. It's not a one-man team as we try to make out with Bale, Tottenham, whatever. This is, you got.
Yeah, but Real Madrid are certainly not a one-man team. Khedira's playing some great football at the moment. Ozil's playing some good football. Di Maria's been out of form, but he's really hitting his straps now. Di Maria, I've been very, very impressed with him in the last 3 or 4 outings for Real Madrid.
I think Real Madrid have definitely scored a goal, which means United have got to get a couple of goals, and I don't know if that's too much for them. I don't think Real Madrid will be too strong. I'm going to go for Manchester United, home advantage and everything else, but it's going to be ever so tight. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to penalties, actually.
And what about this young French defender? We were talking about him,
Varane,
19 years old. This guy is I think he's going to be right up there with the best of them for his career, from what I've seen in the early stages.
Yeah, I mean, and also, he's got quite a lot of competition in that full-back spot, because Marcelo is out at the moment, and he was, I think, one of the best players of last season.
Yeah, terrific, I like him. Great attacking back.
One of the best defensive players of last season, I should qualify that and say.
They say that Robin Van Persie, Evra and Danny Welbeck all trained today. They all had minor injuries.
Jones is definitely not featuring.
Jones is definitely out, yeah. Real Fernandez recovered from a flu virus, and Casillas may play for Real Madrid, they say.
Well, they've taken him, but I think Diego Lopez has done a very good job since he's come in.
I wouldn't trust him, with his hand, just getting over an injury, no match practice. I think it'd be a bit of a big decision.
You've also got Borussia Dortmund, Shakhtar Donetsk tomorrow night as well.
Tom, so just sticking with the Man United game, I think one thing that might work against Real Madrid is that this is the first time that Ronaldo has returned to Old Trafford. And he is, by nature, a very emotional young man and a very emotional player. And sometimes, you know, the emotion of the occasion might
because you'll get a standing ovation, won't you, from the fans?
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, I mean, if he was to go back to Old Trafford and, you know, be given the cold shoulder and booed by the fans, I think you'd probably see him playing an absolute blinder. But, you know, sometimes you can kill with love, kill with kindness.
He speaks adoring of Manchester United. He had a great stay there.
It's going to be a fantastic game.
And the way he hugged Ferguson.
Yeah, there's a great friendship there.
Yeah, so I think it could affect his game, and I think that could be the deciding factor.
We've got about a minute to go, guys. What else we got on the agenda, Europe-wise?
That Dortmund game that you said should be a great game. It's 2-2 from the first leg, nicely balanced. I think the German with home advantage should go through.
Lewandowski on good form at the moment. A brace of goals for Dortmund on the weekend as well.
I think they'll be fine. I think it'll be another really, really good game. Juventus and Celtic. Well, Lennon won't let Celtic go out and just drop their heads. I think that'll be a really, really good game. Wouldn't be surprised if Celtic get a draw at Juventus, but they can't make back 3 goals. And Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 against Valencia. That's lovely. Really balanced, really, really well. Cracking game, that one.
Yeah, but I mean, Paris Saint-Germain are at home. They won. They've got 2 away goals to go.
Well, if Valencia get the first goal,
I mean, what you could see, though, I mean, as we said last week, is that by the end of this phase of the Champions League, there are no Spanish teams.
Valencia conceding 2 goals on the weekend against Levante in a 2-2 draw as well. So
I've got to say that it was really good for Malaga because all the results went their way. The best teams, the nearest teams to them, all drew. So Malaga stayed ahead by a point at 4th place, which was really good.
And you've got 5 seconds. There's also Europa League action.
Spurs, Inter Milan, Wednesday.
Another cracking game to look forward to. Inter Milan also playing some good football at the moment.
Absolutely.
That's it, guys. The time is gone. Many thanks to all of you. Many thanks to Amanda and Brian from Studs and Stilettos. Thanks to you for listening, and a happy birthday once again to Richard Tilsley.
Thanks, boy.
For turning 50.
Okay.
And thanks for you guys.
And maybe see you Friday if we have a show.
Cheers.
This is Talk Radio Europe on the hour. Live international news from Sky.